Therefore, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa says, أبغض الحلائل إلى الله الطلاق. The worst halal you can ever think is talaq. Therefore, should not do it. Islam always discouraged for it. Whoever wants to do it, first say, go get me 2 witnesses. And those witnesses that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want them, they have to be just, they have to be faithful, they have to be practicing Muslims. At that time, their witness is accepted. Not only that, there are other things, there are other conditions. The lady has to be in a certain time that, her husband will divorce her, cannot be at any time. Even after divorce, she has to stay with him in the same house for 3 months and 10 days. Some you say, why? They got divorced. So maybe he or she changed their mind and come back and return to each other. So look how Islam, it prevents getting divorced, rather help to reunite again. For any reason, for anything that the guy in these 3 months and 10 days want to return, he can return. There is no need for aqd even. He can return to his wife and again they become husband and wife just like before. This is how much Islam pays attention to marriage. Also prohibits adultery, fornication wal-'iyadu billah, and put punishments for that. Not only just to forbid them, rather there is punishment against the person who commits adultery, fornication, and tell him there is only one way for you to go. And that way is diwaj. That way is nikah and getting married. One important thing, brothers and sisters, let me come back again to this topic, that Islam always asks, and if you have listened to me throughout this month, I always emphasize on this thing, and that is the early marriage, brothers and sisters. Islam encourages that. Once the boy and the girl reach the age of maturity, they are suitable for marriage. Do not say they are still young. They're not young anymore. They're not young. You think that they are young. They're not young. Give them responsibility. They deserve to have a responsibility. You see, this desire, this physical needs is a natural thing. It's within every human being. Just like we get hungry and thirsty, we require the other physical things. Now, you tell the young, what do you tell him? You tell him, suppress yourself. Can he or she suppress herself or himself? How would she express herself or himself? Through marriage. If you conceal it, if you suppress, if you tell them to suppress and you help them to suppress, you think that they are suppressing. But they will find their way to cheat you, to cheat the parents, and then they will take the path of deviation. Therefore, to stop the path of deviation, Islam tells you that you need to help them, encourage them to get married. Any person, any father, any mother should start thinking while their children are still in early ages, start to plan, work, as same way as they are concerned about their food, about their dress, about their school, they also should be concerned about their marriage. What time are they going to get married? To whom are they going to get married? Plan. Make a roadmap. Plan. You say that he's going to get married in 4 years. Plan for that marriage from now. Don't leave it to God and say, okay, Allah, He will find it. No, Allah will find it, provided that you start helping. Here we have a hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Sallu alayhi ba'ala aswatikum. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Says, من بلغ ولده النكاح عنده وعنده ما ينكحه فلم ينكح. Meaning that somebody that has a child and the child grows up and reaches the age of maturity and he can provide for him to get married, but he does not, ثم أحدث حدثا فالإثم عليه. If the boy or the daughter make a mistake make sinful act, the one who will be partner with that person will be the father and the mother. Those will be his partner in the sin. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say the responsibility lie on the parents. Therefore, you gotta act. Don't say we are too far here, I need to go and find him somebody from Iran or from Iraq. That will take so long. He has to get his green card first, he has to finish his school, then find a job. The necessity of life never finish. You are a student, you want to wait for a job. Okay, after school, you get the job. You want to wait for first year to finance for your home. After first year, you want to buy your car. Then you will think about your second car. Then you want to buy your Mercedes. And you continue like this. Necessity of life never finish. Therefore, you have to start the planning. Throw yourself in the difficulties of life, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will rescue. If you have a good intention, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a promise. إِن يَكُونُوا فُقَرَاءَ يُغْنِهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. Here, one lady came to Rasulullah. Look at how beautiful at the time, how Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa would beautifully solve those problems. One lady came to Rasulullah and told him, Ya Rasulullah, zawwijni. Find a husband for me. He said, do you accept whoever I find for you? She said, yes. He called one young man. He said, do you like this young man? She said, if Rasulullah likes him, yes, I like him. He asked the guy, told him, do you have money for dowry? He said, no, Ya Rasulullah, I don't have anything. He said, what do you have? He said, nothing. I don't have anything. He said, do you know Quran? Have you remembered some surah of Quran? He said, yes, Ya Rasulullah, I know some Quran. He said, your dowry, the dowry of this lady, is that you teach her Quran. Make her memorize Quran. And afterward, he did the marriage ceremony and they became husband and wife. This is how simple the life at that time. Today, I was reading the Emirati newspaper. The Emirati newspaper, according to their newspaper, they say that the dowries per year is 11 trillion dirhams. Sorry, 11 billion. 11 billion dirhams. $3 billion. Do you know how many they are? They are 800,000 people. Less than 1 million. Their dowries is a 3 billion. The marriage cost is a $3 billion. Then, at the end of the newspaper, at the end of the article, says many local Emiratis and youth, the male youth, are not willing to get married with their local counterpart. They want to find somebody outside. The reason? For such a big amount of dowry. That's what Islam had instructed exactly against this. I simplify it, but we try to make it so difficult, to make our life difficult and our children's difficult. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. Brothers and sisters, also there is some extreme cases. I have to say this one. You see, when someone who's sick, he goes to the doctor. First the doctor gives him medicine, try to cure him by medicine, by shots. Eventually, if it doesn't happen, eventually what does he do? Do a surgery. Surgery is not all the time done. Rather, when the thing happens to be a life-threatening, at that time, when the disease becomes life-threatening, they tell him, you gotta do surgery. We also have something similar to that, and that is called temporary marriage. I know the parents, the society does not condone this, and I agree with you. It is not suitable for everyone to do it, but it is left as a cure for a bigger disease. When you are encountering a bigger problem and a bigger problem, which one do you solve? Which one do you prefer? Of course, you go after the bigger problem. Why? Because the bigger problem has more grave consequences. The result of that one is gravest. It's more devastating. Therefore, Islam has told you, this is a way. Try to avoid it. Try to be absent-minded about it. Forget it. But if it persists and you have no choice, here I am a parent.